In this video, I'm going to tell you how right now you can save tens of thousands of pounds off every property purchase you make. Whether you're a new investor, already an experienced investor, listen very carefully because I believe right now, literally the next 6 months is probably one of the best buying opportunities this decade. Now, I really encourage you to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon because I bring out a lot of topical, timely videos. If you're watching this 6 months later, hey, you'll still be able to find some great deals. You'll still be able to save tens of thousands of pounds based on what I'm going to share in this video, but it's always best to be watching these as soon as they come out so you can be in the best position to take advantage of these market opportunities. And right now, there is a huge market opportunity. Let me explain that first, and then I'm going to explain how you can save tens of thousands off every single property you buy. So right now, as I film this, this is early August 2024, this is a great time for you to invest for 3 specific reasons. Reason number 1, we are currently in a buyer's market. It's been like this for all of 2024, and it's probably going to be the same in early 2025 as well. What this means is there are more people looking to sell their property than there are people wanting to buy property. So it's a buyer's market. It's in our favor. In the pandemic, in the property boom that was in the pandemic, it was a seller's market. There were buyers lining up to buy every single property in the market. Sellers were getting more for the property they were asking. Estate agents didn't need to work with us as investors. They could sell anything really, really easily. That is not the case right now. This buyer's market is the perfect opportunity. There's not been a time like this since 2008 when we saw the global financial crisis and property markets crashed around the world. Now, it's not the same circumstances as it was back then, but it's absolutely a buyer's market. That's the first reason. The second reason is in July, the Labour Party won the general election to become the new government in the UK in their landslide election victory. Now, what this means is because they have the majority of the seats in Parliament, the Labour government can bring pretty much anything they want into law and no one can stop them. And there are all sorts of things that people are talking about and worried about, and we're going to have to wait and see what actually happens because we don't know. But for that reason, many property investors are sitting back and just waiting. They're waiting to see what's going to happen, then they're going to decide what they want to do. What that means is there are less buyers in the market because many of them are waiting. Add to that the fact that many property investors are concerned about what the Labour Party might do. Things like potential rent caps have been talked about. Changes to the capital gains tax we might pay when we sell a property. And for these reasons, I think we're seeing more and more landlords than ever before decided to bring their properties to the market for sale. So it's going to be more stock coming to the market, but not enough buyers to buy that. So maybe we might see property prices stagnate or even come down further. Are we going to see a property market crash in 2024 or property market crash in 2025? Well, I doubt it's going to be a crash, but I think the market's certainly going to be very difficult for sellers looking to sell their properties. And then here's the third reason that is relevant right now, probably for the next 6 to maybe 8 weeks. And this is important to make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon because I want to make sure when you get these timely opportunity videos come out, you make the most of it. Right now in August 24 and also into September 2024, we are going to see less investors in the market because every year, every summer, many property investors take time off with the kids, and that's good. You should be doing that. One of the reasons we're investing in property is to be able to have more time with your family and friends, etc. But they take a lot of time off in the summer when the kids are off at school. And to be honest, because they take so much time off in the summer, it takes quite a bit of time to get going again. And most people don't really get going in September. It's not really October, November to start to get back into property. And then the problem is then Christmas is coming and people take off more time. So for many property investors, once they hit the summer, have a nice summer off, they don't really do much until it gets into the new year, to January, when everyone's got new resolutions to make that new year their year that's going to count. So what this means is you do not have much competition right now because we have this buyer's market, point 1. Point 2, Because of the Labour government, people are waiting to see what happens. 3, the summer holiday, people always take time off. There is not much competition right now. What that means is if you're speaking to sellers and if you're looking for motivated sellers, people for whom the speed and certainty is the most important thing, there are some fantastic deals to be done right now. Let me give you an example of this. So at the weekend, I was running a 2-day virtual training event, which is my deal sourcing event. We had all of my top mastermind students there because deal sourcing is the most important thing. You need to learn how to find really good property deals. And we had a lot of people just pay to come and do that training. And we did some pre-training to help people find some potential motivated seller leads. And I said, look, if you get some leads, I'm going to call some of them for you personally on that training to try and get a deal for my delegates. So one of the delegates, a lady called Michelle, she had basically spoken to a landlord previously. And this was a classic example of a guy who'd owned his property for a number of years. He got to a certain age. He just didn't want the hassle of the property anymore. He'd had some really good growth over the last decade or so. And he thought, you know what, I'm going to get rid of this property. Now, Michelle had she'd done some training with us before. She'd negotiated a purchase lease option. That's where you get to rent a property from a landlord for a period of time, but you take away all the hassle and ownership. It's a fantastic strategy, and she's got the right to buy in the future. And you lock in a price today, so she was going to benefit from some capital growth. She spoke to the landlord, he was happy with it. She'd even done what's called a heads of terms, which is the basic agreement you put together. You send that to solicitors for them to put the proper paperwork in place. But then the landlord, who's quite elderly, had spoken to his son. His son didn't understand it, didn't like the idea, and persuaded his dad not to do it. So Michelle was in the situation, the guy just wanted to sell the property. Now, he'd actually spent a bit of money on it. It was in really good condition, ready to rent. She didn't have to do anything to it at all. It was on the market for $199,950. And it was probably, Michelle believes, probably worth at least $210, maybe even $220, $230. But the problem was there's lots of properties in the market available right now. This landlord believes his is one of the best available, and he's probably right. But in that market, it's just not selling at all. There's just not enough buyers, probably for the reasons I've mentioned. So I went on the call and I called him. He didn't know me. I've not spoken to him before. So I politely spoke to him, said, is it okay speaking? I'm calling about, I'm a friend of Michelle. I'm working with her. And he said, no, I don't want to rent it. And he was really adamant he didn't want to rent. I was going to try and get him to see the benefits of doing the lease option. And I tried for a few minutes, but he was adamant he didn't want to rent. And I don't think he really understood that Michelle was going to take away all the hassle from him. But still, he was very closed-minded. I said, okay, well, what do you want? And that's the title of this video. What do you want? And when you're speaking to a seller, it's really important to understand what is most important to them. Now, here's the thing you need to get that most investors don't understand. Most people who are selling their property, they just want to get as much as they possibly can from the sale of their property. That's most people. However, motivated sellers are slightly different. For them, the speed and certainty is often more important than the amount of money they actually get. And so, for that reason, if you find a motivated seller, they might be prepared to sell at a discount if you can do it quickly, or if they don't actually need the money, but they just don't want the hassle anymore, maybe you can use a strategy such as purchase lease options, where you buy it in the future, or vendor finance, where you do buy it, but they actually help you fund that purchase. And the reason they do that is they get rid of the property, they get the full price they want, and they're going to get a better return on the money they're lending you than they would in the bank. Now, it only works in certain circumstances, and I'm going to talk about those in future videos. But the point is that if you have this motivated seller, you can often do a really good deal. So I said to this guy, so what do you want? What do you want? And in fact, rather than saying what do you want, because that might then focus on the price they want, a better question might be, what do you actually need? What do you need to get from the sale? And I said, look, what do you want to happen here? And he said, look, I just want to get it sold. I want to get it done quickly. He'd tried to sell it in auction, an online auction, previously twice, and it hadn't sold. And one of the benefits of an online auction is when someone actually successfully wins the bid, they have to complete in either 4 or 8 weeks' time. And he said to me, I want to sell it in 8 weeks. I don't want someone messing me around. I said, okay, well, if you can give us a good price, we can actually get it done in 4 weeks. And if you're buying cash, you can absolutely do 4 weeks. Now, you might be thinking, oh my God, but I don't have cash, Simon. If you get a low enough price, you can borrow someone else's money or go to a bridging company, and they will often look at the value, which means sometimes they'll give you pretty much all of the purchase price. Not a normal mortgage company, but a private lender or bridging finance. So I said to him, well, what do you think it's worth? He said, oh, well, it's on for 19950. I think it's worth more than that. I said, okay, you know, if I was going to buy it quickly, I'd only pay 75% of the market price. And he said, what, 150? I said, yeah, 150. He said, okay, I'll do that. And this was in literally a 15-minute conversation. I'd not spoken to him before, but he was a motivated seller. He wasn't unlike most sellers. He was truly motivated. He wanted to get rid of the property. He didn't want to mess around. He wanted to happen quickly. And so I saved or negotiated an extra £50,000 off the price. It's probably worth more than 200 anyway. So it's a greater than 25% discount in literally a 15-minute conversation. Now, to be fair, he was motivated. Michelle had warmed him up and everything. She'd proposed something that he'd accepted initially, then he rejected, so we went back. And here's the thing. Sometimes you can make an offer and people want to do it, then they say no. No doesn't mean no never. It just means no, not now. And what I did was I found out what specifically did, what was most important to him. And that was getting the sale done, getting it done quickly, and not being messed around. So we agreed a deal, and Michelle is now going to be at that event. It was a paid event. We had a whole load of people who said to Michelle, hey, I've got the money, I've got the cash, I'll either joint venture with you or buy the deal off you. Michelle's decided she's going to sell it. She's going to make £3,000 from selling that deal to someone who's got the money, someone she's met on a paid training event. And these opportunities are out there. But most people right now are sitting back waiting to see what happens, or they're on holiday. So if you're watching this video right now, I implore you to get out there, find some truly motivated sellers, and I've got lots of videos about how to do that on this channel. Go and check those out. But now is the opportunity. Speed of implementation, take action now. If you do what I've said and go out and take action, you know what you're doing, you get some great deals this summer, either for yourself or to sell to other people. So I do hope you found this useful. Look, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so when you get these timely videos out when they're market opportunities. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these, talking about the opportunity right now. You don't want to miss these, so make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified. I'd love you to come and like the video as well. Comment below. I'll come and answer as many comments as I can. Tell me, how are you finding the market right now? If you can see the opportunity, just type opportunity into the chat. If you agree with me, type opportunity in the chat box below, comment box, and I'll come and answer your questions. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't been to one of our Property Investor Network meetings yet, oh my God, you're missing out. There's a link below. The meetings are all over the UK. We do virtual one in August and December. Every other month we have 50 meetings, and also in the Netherlands and Dubai. Come and check those out. And you can use the voucher code, which is YouTube, to come to your very first meeting for free to see what you've been missing out on. So there's no risk for you. Come and check it out for yourself. Until the next video, as ever, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill.